Welcome back to the Intuitive Creators Podcast, the space where we explore the intersection of soul, creativity, spirituality, and self-expression. I'm your host, Mandee, and today's episode is one that is really close to my heart because it's about my own human design type, the Manifestor. Now, if you're new to human design, don't worry. I'll break things down in a way that feels digestible and grounded. And if you already know you're a manifestor, I want you to feel seen, validated, and maybe even a little relieved that someone else gets what it's like to live in this energy. So let's dive into what it's actually like to be a manifestor in human design. The blessings, the struggles, the myths, and the ways you can honor your design in real life. Let's get into a little quick overview for those who maybe don't know about human design. And if you don't, I highly recommend that you get a reading from somebody that reads these things and or just explore it a little bit on your own, Human design is often described as the science of differentiation. It combines astrology, the I Ching, the chakra system, and the quantum physics to create a blueprint of how your energy is designed to flow. There are 5 main types in human design: manifestors, generators, manifesting generators, projectors, and reflectors. Manifestors specifically make up only about 9% of the population, which already tells you something. We're rare, and we're not designed to operate like everyone else. Manifestors are here to initiate. We carry energy that starts movements, sparks ideas, opens doors, and gets the ball rolling. But, and here's the kicker, we're not necessarily designed to finish everything we start. Our role is to catalyze, to set things in motion and then allow others to carry it forward. The reality of being a manifestor. I feel like this is probably going to be the core aspect of the episode, just because if you're not familiar with human design, this can kind of get your juices flowing, or just maybe you get intrigued by it, But if you do know you're a manifestor and you've been kind of confused, because I was confused for a while myself, being a manifestor, and I found that I had gotten to a point where I really needed someone who knew a lot, an expert or just a professional, to explain all these things to me. That's when I got really, really curious. And then now I'm low-key obsessed. Just saying. Here's the truth about being a manifestor and how it can feel both empowering and incredibly misunderstood. The aura. Our aura is described as repelling, which sounds kind of harsh, right? But it's not bad. It simply means that our energy naturally creates space around us. People can feel our presence, and sometimes that intimidates them. I will completely confirm this. If you have listened to some of the other podcast episodes, and you'll know I've talked about, the spiritual journey and how we ascend, and the higher we ascend, the more intimidating we become to other people. And of course, we trigger them, which I loved that episode. Please go listen to it. The other part is the gift. We're visionaries. We get these urges, these spontaneous downloads that come seemingly out of nowhere. And when we follow them, they can change everything. I will also confirm this as a manifestor. Anything I've ever created in any of my art forms has been completely spontaneous. It's out of complete thin air, and I can't ignore it. it's like a surge of creativity, and I love that I get to create that way. At first, when I was younger, I felt like, wow, I must be kind of crazy because I don't have a plan, nothing's prepared, blah, 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 whatever I was telling myself. But now that I'm older and more refined and, more in my bag, I will say, and skill set, I don't see it that way anymore. I look at it as a gift. I get to have these beautiful visions and urges in the very right moments. And to be honest, now that I refined my skills, I feel as though I do have a plan. I do have a preparation process together at all times. So if I know I want to create A and B, and maybe I don't have time for C, then, we're going to do a lot of A and B because I'm already really efficient at making A and B. And then there's the struggle. This is the last part, and pretty key. Society teaches us to constantly explain ourselves, get permission, and collaborate in ways that don't feel natural. But manifestors thrive in independence. We need freedom. I can't stress that enough. We really need that freedom in order to thrive. But I'm just going to give you some keywords here. Explaining ourselves. I over-explain myself so much to a point where I think I need to just get more quiet with people, because I don't need to be saying things that are pretty obvious through my actions and other things that I have already said. I don't need to reinforce that. Just no. None of that. And then permission. That is a very big one here. I want that to be a huge focus in this episode. We actually, as manifestors, do not need permission to go do the things that we want to go and do. That's where we create our freedom. We unlock the cage on our own by saying that we need that freedom to be able to be who we are, to achieve the things that we want in our life. So for me personally, I remember when I first discovered I was a manifestor, it was like everything clicked. I felt really privileged because I got to take a workshop near me, very, very close to me. And it's like I manifested it because I was already starting to get into it a little bit here and there, but I hadn't gotten the itis of curiosity just yet. So I just loved the experience in general. It explained why I always felt this push-pull between wanting to do things my way and feeling guilty when people thought I was being too much or difficult. But here's the truth. Manifestors aren't too much. We're simply wired differently. And that difference can feel isolating at times. We might wonder why people don't get us, or why our ideas are met with resistance before they're celebrated. But often, that resistance isn't about us personally. It's about how our energy shakes things up. Manifestors bring disruption, even unintentionally, and disruption is rarely comfortable for others. Yet the very things that make us too much are often the sparks that ignite real change. The more we learn to own that truth instead of apologizing for it, the more aligned and powerful our impact becomes. So part of human design is strategy. So there's different categories and sections, which is, lovely for my brain because I like organization personally, and I like to see things laid out in front of me visually. That way I can comprehend it a bit easier. And I'm a visual person. I'm a visual and audio learner. Our strategy is to inform. Every type in human design has a strategy. So for us, it's to inform. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Manifestors aren't here to ask for permission. We're here to inform others of what we're about to do so we can reduce resistance. That's a really hard one to swallow. I still struggle with like what that truly looks like for me. Why, you might ask, that has to be that way? Because our aura is powerful. When we act without informing, people can feel blindsided, controlled, or left out. But when we inform, it creates harmony without us feeling like we're asking for approval. This has been one of the hardest but most liberating lessons for me. Informing doesn't mean justifying yourself. It doesn't mean explaining every detail. It simply means saying, hey, I'm going to start this project. I'm heading in this direction. This is what I feel called to do. It's a courtesy. And ironically, informing actually gives us more freedom, not less. I know this can be kind of like a hard thing to hear and then maybe comprehend at first, because when I was first learning about human design, like, yes, of course, things were clicking for me, but it was because I have so much lived experience at this point that it was kind of like overwhelming how much was clicking. So I suggest going slow when you're exploring this subject and go section by section, because there is so much. A human design combines different things. That's why I was so drawn to it, because I'm so into astrology, and I love the idea of quantum physics, but not that I know a ton, but I am intrigued by it nonetheless. So go slow with learning these things. Now let's get into the emotional experience of this, because it's actually really important. Our signature is peace. When we're living in alignment, we feel spacious, calm, and free. Our not self theme is anger. So we have a signature and we have a not self theme. They are opposites. So we have peace and anger for ours. And oh my goodness, if you're a manifestor, you know this one. Anger often shows up when people try to control us, box us in, and slow us down. It can also come up when we've suppressed our urges for too long. Here's something important. Anger isn't bad. It's a messenger. It's showing us where we've given away our power and where we're not honoring our design. I'm going to share an example with you. When I've taken on too many obligations out of guilt, that simmering frustration builds until I explode. That's the manifestor way of saying I need to recalibrate. I need my freedom back. So when I start to recognize that I feel overwhelmed by having too many things, I have to draw and scale it back. I can only do so much in a day. I can only do so much in this moment. So when I can digest it in that way, I can get things done in a timely manner. Now, say like it's on the opposite end. Well, like there just is too many things. Why'd I sign up for all these commitments? Then I have to really evaluate my choices and decisions. So from there, maybe it's taking something out or tabling that project for right now, because it's just another thing that I don't have time for, and I need to have time. Peace doesn't mean silence or avoiding conflict, though. Peace means being in alignment with yourself, so you don't constantly feel the need to fight. So the fight aspect is that anger, right? It's the resistance that you're feeling in your body and in your mind and your heart and your soul. But it's how we handle that makes all the difference. So we can meet that resistance with more push, or we can pull back, evaluate, and then, make the blockage go away completely, creating that freedom and the peace once again. So I feel like it's really important for us to recognize these things as manifestors, so we can create that peace of mind, that harmony, the spaciousness of being aligned to who we are and being unapologetic about it. You know what I'm saying? Let's bust a few myths about manifestors, because these are fun. We're not supposed to be leaders all the time. Yes, we initiate, but leadership can take many forms. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's behind the scenes. So I don't want you to have this impression of manifestors as like we have to lead all the time and initiate. Actually, we just initiate when we're called to. So those urges and those waves, we're supposed to move with them. If we go against them, then we create more resistance, we create more blockages, we create just a whole lot of mess. We're not selfish though. We just need autonomy. There's a difference. So at first I was talking about how with our aura we can intimidate people. This is what that kind of goes along with. So those people that we intimidate in the not so great way, they're going to assume you're selfish, which is, that's on them. That's on their itty bitty perspective of where they're at that moment, right? It has nothing to do with you. You need control over your decisions. Autonomy. There's a very big difference. Selfishness is a negative thing. Autonomy is a powerful thing. Okay? We're also not flaky. We're designed for cycles of rest and action. We burn bright, then we need to recharge. This is another thing that I personally have resisted for a very long time. I go through pretty big cycles of rest and rejuvenation because I've put in so much action, and I've had to find more of a balance within that. In fact, I've had to let go of the idea of having structure in everything I do every single day. I need to have sections or moments of like, okay, do I feel like doing work? Do I feel like doing A, B, or C like I usually do? Sometimes it's like, no, actually I don't. For instance, I'm recording this podcast on a Friday morning. I usually am at the gym. I am not. Today I sacrificed a gym workout because I physically don't feel like I need it right now. I actually need to get on my mat and get a big stretch in. Regardless, I felt called to record this episode. I felt it. I felt the inspiration. I wanted to get on the mic. I wanted to talk. I wanted to do my work because I love what I do. So I'm riding that wave of, yes, right now it's action. And then later today, I get to do some rest. You know why? Because I need it. I need it, yes. So if you're a manifestor listening to this, please stop trying to be consistent like a generator. You're not designed that way. You're cyclical. That's your power. So I can speak on this a little bit because I'm not as familiar with generators, but my best friend is a generator. And apparently manifestors and generators, we get along a lot. We vibe, but we're designed differently, right? So generators can be really consistent, can really just keep going and going and going like an Energizer bunny, but not manifestors. You are not meant to continue pushing yourself, which brings me to this idea. A major part of being an entrepreneur is your human design type. So typically entrepreneurs are manifestors or they're manifesting generators. Depends on, what that person does and how much they do those things. Me, I can't do a 9-to-5 job. I can't do a job in general. I need to have that freedom to be able to do the things that I want to be doing when I want to be doing them. Which sounds really selfish to certain people. And you know what? Good for them. So how do we actually honor our manifestor design in daily life? If you listen to this podcast often, you know I give spiritual experience and perspective, but then I also give practical practices and tools. So the first one, it's a big one. Inform, don't ask. Practice saying, this is what I'm going to do, instead of, is this okay? I can't stress this enough. Your job is to inform people. If you just simply say, this is what I'm going to do, and then go and do it, be guilt-free about it. You're going to do it, right? Like, if you say it out loud, you're putting it into existence. And if you're putting it into existence, there's accountability there, is there not? Keep going, manifestors. I see you. I see you. Honor your rest cycles. When the urge is gone, let it go. Trust that another one will come. So the urge to take action, the urge to rest. Now, there isn't necessarily like an urge in terms of wanting to rest, but like, for instance, I can tell when your girl needs a nap. And I need to nap, not like all the time, but like, pretty often. At least a few times a week, I need a good, quickie nap, or like an hour or two long nap. It depends. But when I feel it in my body, I give way to it. And that has actually helped me a lot more, because afterwards I feel super grounded. I feel very calm, very relaxed, my goodness. And I don't feel a sense of guilt that I haven't done anything during that time. It's okay. It's more than okay. So when you feel like the inspiration is gone, like the juice is gone, like there's nothing there, don't push past that. All right? Take some rest. Go outside, touch some grass, go play, go do something you enjoy doing, go see a friend, spend time with your family. I don't know what it is, but rest. Surround yourself with the right people. You need allies who respect your independence, not people who guilt you into conformity. I cannot stress this enough. This is one I've struggled with. For some odd reason, lots of projectors really love to put their insecurities onto me and tell me that I should conform when I really shouldn't. I'm not meant for that. I'm terrible at that, actually. So I want you to think about who you surround yourself with. The people that are closest to you matter, right? Do they respect your independence? Do they respect your ideas? Do they respect your ideals and the goals you have in life? Do they respect you as a person? And do they support you? And that can be in small ways, that can be in big ways, but do they actually support you? Create sacred space for your urges. I love this one. When inspiration strikes, follow it immediately. Don't wait for permission. This is something I was talking about a little bit earlier in this episode. Apparently this one's going to be kind of lengthy. That's okay. I love this topic. So I have these creative surges that happen. And I tell you what, every single time I have followed it, I have created magic. Things I never thought I would create. Stuff that I was just like, wow, that's really neat. I didn't know I had that in me. But, I give myself that space. So say I had other plans, but then I have this urge to do something really cool. I'm just going to go and do it. I'm going to drop everything. I'm going to prep for this thing. I'm going to pack whatever I need to pack, or I'm just going to go straight into creating it. And I don't stop until it's done. Right? If you follow me on social media, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. I love to create through photography, through video. Conceptual art is a huge thing for me. I really enjoy dance. That's another form of expression for me. I enjoy writing poetry. I mean, you name it. I'm into graphic design, all of those things. My creativity really doesn't have bounds of sorts. I am limitless in how I create. And when I tell myself that, when I reinforce those things, I give myself that sacred space for those urges. Now here's a big one. I saved the big one for last. Do shadow work around anger. Ask yourself, where am I suppressing my truth? Where am I letting others control my energy? This is a hard one. Shadow work is meant for absolutely all of us. I just did an episode all about it, so please go check that out if you are not familiar or you're just curious to know more. But anger is a big one. So when I notice I feel angry about something and I feel like there's like a control over me via another person or thing, you know what I do? I go to the gym and I get on a boxing bag and I just box it out of me. Like I just punch as fucking hard as I can and let it out of my body, and I feel good about it afterwards. I feel released and better about my circumstances. And you know what I do afterwards? I sit my ass down and I write down ideas and ways that I can move forward and create solutions to that problem, right? So I did a physical thing to get it out of my body so I could sit in the feeling because I needed to. And then I figured out solutions, and then I take action on those things. Or at least I try. You know, I'm not always successful. Now here's a bonus. Protect your peace like it's sacred. Because for manifestors, it really is. So here's the spiritual perspective. From a higher lens, manifestors carry catalytic energy. We're here to start things that ripple far beyond us. Think about the archetype of the prophet, the revolutionary, the pioneer. Manifestors often feel like they're walking a path others don't understand. And that's because we're designed to go first. That doesn't mean we're better. It simply means our soul signed up for a role of initiation. Others are here to sustain, build, guide, or reflect. All roles are sacred. So if you're a manifestor, know this. Your soul came here to carve new pathways, to trust your inner authority, to live as an example of freedom and authenticity. But here's the deeper truth. Being a manifestor is also about surrender. You're not meant to control the ripple effect of your actions, only to follow the urge when it arises. Think of it like lighting a match. You spark the flame, but you don't dictate how the fire spreads or who gathers around it. Spiritually, this requires deep faith. Faith that when you initiate from alignment, the universe will place the right people and opportunities to carry it forward. Many manifestors struggle because they want proof before they act, but your design asks for trust before certainty. In many ways, manifestors embody the energy of divine will, the ability to channel inspiration from source into action that changes the collective field. And often, your greatest impact won't be recognized in the moment. It will be felt years or even generations later. I love this subject. Thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. If you've watched or if you've listened to multiple episodes, I appreciate you. If you're a manifestor, I want to know about it. Okay? I want to know about your experience. I want to know more about you in general. I want to know how human design has helped you and maybe how it has dismantled you completely into a spiral of I don't know who I am anymore. Whatever the thing is, I want to hear about it. I know that earlier this year when I did the workshop I was telling you about, my eyes were opened. I love astrology, and that has helped me quite a lot, but Human Design kind of took that over the edge of let's go. Let's really open ourselves up to different concepts. And now I feel better about being more of an initiator, to be somebody that informs others. This is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. And not having that guilt of needing to rest and then pushing with that flow of work, right? Right now I'm riding a wave of action because I felt that inspiration. I wanted to get on the mic. I wanted to be present. I wanted to talk about a topic. I want to do my work. Sometimes I'm just like, no, thank you. I'm just not feeling it right now. That's okay. That is more than okay, right? So when I do feel it, and I will feel it again, I will absolutely feel another surge of creativity. Then I'll be present for that too. So what it's really like to be a manifestor in Human Design. It's powerful, it's challenging, it's misunderstood, and it's beautiful. We are not meant to be consistent. We are not meant to fit into boxes. We are meant to spark change, ignite possibilities, and then rest in peace while the universe catches up. If this resonated with you, I'd love for you to share this episode with another manifestor or with the people in your life who love one. Because the more we understand each other's energy, the more harmonious our relationships can be. Thank you so much for tuning into the Intuitive Creators Podcast. Until next time, honor your urges, protect your peace, and remember, your energy is a gift.